Welcome to Civilian Jeeps. I'm Jake, and today it's nice and snowy here in eastern Tennessee, and I thought, what would be more fitting on this snowy day than get the Jeep out, specifically the cheap Jeep, my $1,400 cheap Jeep that I bought a couple weeks ago. Now, if you don't know how I bought this Jeep, go ahead and check that video out. It's a couple videos back, and if you want to know more about this cheap Jeep, make sure you go check that video out too. It's one video prior to this one, but today we're going to be going over the problems. I'm going to do a block test on this Jeep here in the middle of the woods, and I've got a professional grade OBD scanner that'll really open up the computer on this Jeep, and we're going to look at some of the problems that it has as well as some of the problems that I've found with it over the past couple weeks. So let's go ahead, dive right into it, and here's all the problems of this cheap Jeep. Well, we are going to start with a combustion block test. Now what this does is it detects exhaust gases inside your radiator system. This specifically is going to do like a cracked head, a warped block, something along those lines where your head and your block is not mating correctly. Now the reason that I'm kind of interested in seeing this is because when I got this thing over here, the radiator reservoir was completely empty and it was low on coolant, and I'm not seeing a coolant leak. So I thought it'd be a good idea to go ahead and do a leak down test, or not a leak down test, my bad, a block test. Now essentially what you do is you get this block tester right here, our blue fluid that you see. You're going to put it up to this fluid level line right there, so make sure it's right there a little above it. You're going to take this bulb, and there'll be two ends of it, an open end like that, and then there'll be a metal end right there. And you stick it down just like that with the metal end up top, and then once your vehicle is the operating temperature, fill your hose right here, make sure, yep, that's nice and hot, that your upper radiator hose, the thermostat's open, and then put this down in your radiator reservoir and start pumping. Now you want to do that for a little over a minute to get a good result, and this will turn yellow if combustion gases are getting into your cooling system, which means you probably have a bad head gasket. Now I'm not tested this yet, so this is going to be first for you and I. Hopefully I do not have a bad head gasket, but this is going to tell me right here if I do. As you can see, my fluid stayed blue, so I do not have any combustion gases going through the system. Another way that you can do this is just physically observe your radiator fluid in your expansion tank, or with your vehicle cold, take your radiator cap off and leave it off and let it warm up. And you can see the exhaust gases building up, and they'll start bubble up and pressurizing through or trying to escape through your radiator. So you do not have to use this. This is just more, I would say foolproof than using the whole method of going through and seeing if you see any exhaust gases escaping through your fluid. So this is not the only way. I figured I probably didn't have a leak because I did not see the exhaust gases, but I wanted to make sure. So that is nice. I do not have a head gasket leak. Now another thing that I want to mention, if you want to know for sure that you have the correct fluid in here and you didn't get scammed, go back here to your exhaust pipe. Alright, that turned yellow, so that's what it would look like if you have a head gasket leak on your vehicle and you're using this block tester. So that's what you don't want. If you want to go straight through your radiator instead of your expansion tank, you can do that. Just make sure the radiator fluid does not come in contact with your tester. You'll have to redo the test. You can go through your expansion tank though, because that's linked into your radiator. So I just wanted to throw that out there. in case you guys are curious why I went through the expansion tank. Obviously the Jeep's hot, and you never want to take a radiator cap off whenever it's hot. So that is great. I do not have a head gasket leak. Let's go show you what I do have though. Okay, thankfully the heat works in this thing, but as you can see right there on the dash, it says service four-wheel drive system, and that is something that plagues these older Grand Cherokees. Now, to put this thing in four-wheel drive, I believe you go down here to neutral. Well, it's all the time like four-wheel drive system with the Quadra-Track 2. However, it has a four-wheel drive low that it will not go into. As soon as I try to put it up, it just spazzes the screen out and will not go into it. So pulling this handle while my foot's on the brake, I'm in neutral. Try to go to 4 low or try to go to neutral, it doesn't do anything. And that's because the system right here is telling it that it can't. If your service four-wheel drive system's on, from what I've been told, it will not let you actually do anything with the four-wheel drive. So why is the four-wheel drive service light on, and how extensive is it? Well, I have a tablet that has AlfaOBD on it. It's a great scan tool. It's only $50. If you have a Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram product, you really need AlfaOBD, and I'm not sponsored by them. I just bought it with my own money and tried it out, and it is awesome. But it's Android based, it's not iPhone based. I'm in the middle of the woods, no cell phone service at all, and I didn't look up how to screen record on an Android. So I'm an iPhone guy, so I have no idea how to screen record on this. So you're just gonna have to bear with me while I'm going over it. But here's my OBDMX Bluetooth dongle. That's what plugs in and sends a Bluetooth signal to the tablet here that connects, but it plugs into the OBD2 reader up under the dash. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug that in. So that's in, and then I'm just gonna, I guess, try to record it this way, even though this is not the preferred method of doing this by any means. I'd much rather just screen record it. So anyway, when you have your tablet here, you're gonna have AlfaOBD, which is right here. You're gonna click on that, go up here to your Bluetooth symbol, connect up to the OBD link, and you want to make sure that the vehicle's in the run position. So let me do that. Vehicle's in the run position. The vehicle's not on though, it's just in the run position. So now I'm going to go down here to Cherokee WK, Grand Cherokee WK. My function is going to be four-wheel drive right there. So I click four-wheel drive. And then the unit is going to be 2005 to 10 non-power net. Don't know what all that means, but that's the unit. Now, whenever you get to this point here, hit connect, and it's going to connect just like that. And then go down here to your diagnostic check engine. Oh, camera's falling over. I really should have looked at how to screen record. So now you're going to say read all faults. So it is found faults. It says faults found. Go down here, hit all these faults. Okay, that's 3 faults. So let's see what those are. So what it says is transfer, this is C140F, the first one that come up. Transfer case range position sensor erratic performance. Whatever that means. So now let's go to C140A. Transfer case motor performance. Maybe that's the actuator that goes in and out of four-wheel drive. And then C1405. Transfer case range position sensor circuit high. Now, I guess those are what is keeping me from going into four-wheel drive. I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll let me clear them, and if I can go into four-wheel drive after that, because I'm just curious if it'll even let me clear these faults. I'm going to go here, clear fault. It's just saying that the engine's off and it's in accessory mode all the way to engine start mode. So I'm going to say yes. So now I say read all faults. And it's still coming up with C1405. So C1405 must be a very popular one that is not just going to go off with hitting clear faults. And just like I figured, C1405 still on, so it still says the service the four-wheel drive system. I'm in neutral, foot's on the brake, and it will not go into four-wheel drive. It had 2 other transfer case faults just a couple weeks ago, because whenever I went to go pick this up, I did the same scanner, and it come up with 5 faults, and one of them was like the clutch packs in the transmission. So I don't know why, but I have 2 less faults than I had 2 weeks ago, which is good, I think, but I'm not sure why that is. I didn't clear them, by the way. I did not clear any faults before. I just left them on there because I wanted them for this video, but 2 of them have disappeared. So let's see what other faults are on this Jeep. Well, let's go back and go into another module. That was the 4-wheel drive. Let's go to the body control module, or the body computer itself. And this is a 2008 non-power net. So we're going to connect up to it. Alright, it's connected. So go down here to the little engine icon, click on that, read all faults. Let's see, of course, there's faults found. Oh Lord. Oh man, there's a lot of faults here. I don't even know if I'll screenshot it, there's too many. HID headlamp control circuit open. Okay, I think these have got to do with the headlights. I've had some LED headlights that I had laying around, and I put those in, and this Jeep doesn't like it, so I might be taking those back out. No code description found. B1634, don't know what that is. Another no code description found, 162C. B1638, no code description found. B1630, another no code description found. So there's a lot of body control module codes. Those are probably for the headlights, because those were not there 2 weeks ago, but this one was there. Lost communication with light rain sensing module. So that one was there when I first purchased the Jeep. I believe that the other codes are there because of my LED headlights. So let's see if there's any faults in the ABS system. I don't believe there is. There's nothing on the dash. So let's say it's 08 to 12. Let's connect to it. Alright, it's connected. Go to the engine, read all faults. And no faults reported. So that's good. So it looks like we have faults in the body control module, and we also have faults in the 4-wheel drive system. But outside of this scanner, let's see what else is wrong with this Jeep. Well, that was AlfaOBD, a really cool tool that's really powerful and lets you do a lot. It'll even let you change factory options on your Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Mopar, Stellantis, Fiat type vehicle. So that I recommend, especially if you want to redo some of the dealer options, like say that you have upgraded your mirrors and you have a marker light in the middle of the mirror that some Jeeps might have had from the factory. You can turn that on with that. So it's really cool. Like I said, I'm not sponsored. I bought that with my own money. It's just a really powerful tool that I recommend if you have a Jeep product. Now, another thing why I got this vehicle so cheap is because, as you've seen in the last video, and I'll go ahead and do it again, it will smoke if it's been sitting a while. And I had my wife follow me and kind of look at it, and it doesn't seem to be when I'm like heavy on the gas, so I don't think it's piston rings. I think it's more valve seals, and it will do it when I decelerate or I idle, which really points to valve stem seals. So let's start it up. And it also has a slight tick in the morning time. See, it really didn't even do it right then. If you drove it for a while and got all the, oil out of the intake, it really don't do it. Right there is just the condensation from the tailpipe. So I'm going to put in a video of when I first started up this morning so you can really see what it does if you let it set overnight. The differential, the IFS right there, there's actual mounts up under there that your differential mounts to. And I'm not very skilled when it comes to independent suspensions. Like, I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know that this independent suspension, the differential housing for the IFS, has 3 bushings. And I'm almost certain that at least 1, maybe 3 of those bushings are shot, because you can hear it kind of rattling around, especially on this trail right here. You can hear it rattling around. So the thing that really frustrates me though is, well, the valve stem seals, the oil. People don't like to follow behind me, but I'm going to try to take care of that cheaply in the next video. And another thing that frustrates me is the four-wheel drive system's not acting like it should, and it's really heavy when you go to turn the wheel. And if you really need to cut sharp, it's almost like you're in a standard four-wheel drive type vehicle and you have it in all four-wheel, even locked. I mean, it'll chirp sometimes. So the four-wheel drive, I feel like, is not acting correctly. So I'm going to try to fix that in the next video as well, if I can. I've got a lot that I plan to do on the cheap, on the budget, in my next video to try to get this thing as good as I can to begin my month-long daily driver journey with it. So next week I'm going to be crawling up under the Jeep, and we're actually going to be getting into seeing if there's anything else mechanically that's wrong under there, and we're going to be trying to fix some things that I outlined in this video. But I do want to show you guys something. I believe that on the 8th day God created Seafoam. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in because it takes a little bit of time to act, because I'm not doing the intake. I'm going to do the intake next week, actually spray it out. But I'm going to be putting Seafoam in the gas, and you know, that'll go through the fuel system, clean it up some, go in. It'll actually go into the engine itself, you know, because it goes in and sprays through the injectors down in the cylinders, the pistons, all that good stuff. So this right here, Seafoam, specifically the high mileage, I've bought 3 cans of it. One's going in the fuel, one's going in the crankcase, and then next week we're going to be doing one in the intake. So the crankcase, it says on the back here that you want to add 1 ounce for every quart of oil, and I think you're supposed to drive between 100 to 300 miles, somewhere around that range. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this to the crankcase now so I can be driving this thing before next week's video. And let's just go ahead and let me show you how easy it is. This is the easiest way to put Seafoam into your engine. It's just not the most effective as far as a short amount of time. I got the lid off. It's as simple as just pouring it into your gas tank, the whole bottle. I believe it says on the back, you know, when greater cleaning concentration is needed, use 2 or more ounces per gallon. They say just 1 ounce per gallon if you're just doing a standard clean. The better the clean that I can get, I'm gonna go for it. So put the lid back on it. So now let's get another can of this and move to the crankcase. What people really don't want you to do. I'm sure there'll be people, oh my God, you put that in your crankcase. Yeah, I did. I don't care. It's $1,400 Jeep. It'll be all right. This is where the engine oil goes. Right down here. I'm gonna pop that out. See the cap there, 5W20. And I got this little cup from Walmart. This is the cheapest that I could find. It was 97 cents. The other measuring cups were like $5. I was like, I'm not spending $5. I'll take the little mini one and just do it multiple times. So one thing that I would like to mention is, when did Seafoam, I've been using Seafoam for years now, and Seafoam used to be like $5-6 a can. This high mileage stuff is $11, and the other stuff is $9, the standard. The standard used to be like $5-6. When did it get so high? I mean, that just kind of blows me away, but I digress a little bit. So let's take our little cup here. Probably should run my hand through it and clean it out just a little bit. All that Walmart stuff in there. So this engine here is 6 quarts of oil. So I'm gonna be putting 6 ounces in it. Let's find the ounces. There's ounces. All right, there's 2 ounces. So there's 2. There's 4. And here's 6. So here's 6 fluid ounces right into the crankcase of this tired 4.7. Now some of you might be saying, now Jacob, shouldn't you be doing a compression test on this Jeep to really figure out, you know, which cylinder might be giving you the issues, or if it really is valve stem seals or piston rings? And you're absolutely right, I should be doing a compression test, but it's freezing out here and I'm not doing a compression test. Maybe in the next video I'll do a compression test, but part of me don't really care. Like, I'm just, it's a cheap Jeep. That's all it is. So I don't want to put a whole, I don't want to get my, hopes down when I see a 80 or 90 on the compression on one of the cylinders. So they say ignorance is bliss, so I'm gonna go with ignorance for a little while. I might do a compression test a little later, but for now we're not doing a compression test. Honestly, I don't want to know. So let's just put a band-aid on it. Let's put some Seafoam in it, see what happens. Next week we're really gonna dive into this Jeep and see up under it and try to fix some of the other problems it has before I start the actual daily driver series. I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you've learned something by the block test using AlfaOBD, putting some Seafoam in the Jeep, and I hope you got something out of this. Let me know if you've enjoyed it down in the comments below, and if you have anything you want to add to this Jeep, put it down in the comments. And when it comes to Jeeps, keep it classic.